Andrea Brown, Head of Channel and Partnerships at OpenSpace, and today I'm delighted to be joined by Sander. Hey, Sander.
Hi, Andrea. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Would you mind by just sharing with everyone what your role at OpenSpace is?
Yes, so I manage part of Europe and a couple of regions where there are open space professionals.
Super, fantastic. Well, listen, you and I have been talking, and I know that you are super passionate about how open space gets used with the construction industry and more. And I'd love just to hear your story about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we've from day one, we've been focusing on, let's say, general contractors, as they say in America, or construction companies in general in Europe here. So, yeah, we found a very natural fit with those companies because very often they either start something from scratch and, start documenting their whole project and process using OpenSpace and even communicate with our field notes, with stakeholders, also share, the latest status with owners or clients that have, projects built by them, but also renovations, right? So capturing an as-is state of a building before they start demolishing things and then start building it up again. So again, they create a valuable time machine of their projects. Yeah.
And Sander, did you experience that with builders of all different sizes, or was there sort of a particular size or type of builder?
Yeah, that's a good question. We are focusing on all. So we're speaking with companies that have, billion euro turnovers revenue, but also to, I think the smallest contractor that we have an agreement with has 3 people. And they are renovating a lovely hotel in the middle of Brussels, and they've started using OpenSpace to capture that whole process as a wonderful communication, but also quality capturing tool for their organization. Anything in between, yeah.
Fantastic. And I know that you sort of almost by chance discovered a whole niche industry that's ended up being really quite interesting for us. Tell us more.
Yes, correct. So as we tend to focus on, contractors that build buildings, there are also contractors, literally, that build other things than buildings. So we kind of, rolled into shipbuilders and shipyards, which is slightly different from shipbuilders. That's why they do renovations and retrofits. And yeah, that's a completely, untapped industry so far. But we realized that, a building is often like this, but a ship is a building on its side that floats on water, but has, similar challenges, but also sometimes bigger challenges, like their equipment is 50 to 100 times more and more complicated because the equipment is bigger. It needs to drive, a vessel or, make sure they have power on board, but also their equipment rooms are smaller, and ships have certain shapes, and that means stuff needs to fit into specific areas, and they need to be captured, managed in a specific way, and that's how we help out.
Wow. And tell me, what kind of ships are these? Are these cargo ships? What sort of ships are they?
It's a big variety. Can't go into all details because sometimes things are quite classified, particularly when you're building, big yachts for, the rich and famous of the world. That's a completely different, scenery, which we can't talk about, but it's boats like that, ships like that, but also, workboats that come into a shipyard. We do have a public reference in the Canary Islands with Estican. So if you go search for OpenSpace and Estican, you will find out that shipyard uses OpenSpace. That when people are bringing their ship to the shipyard, they can see how the ship came in, how Estican is repairing it, but also before they hand it back over to the owner, to the client, what the current state of the ship is at that specific moment in time. So that's a completely other process than, putting bits and pieces together and then, building up a ship from scratch. But yeah, we do all of the above.
I love it. And have you discovered what were people doing before OpenSpace? So what are they using today?
They would literally make, you know, tens of thousands of photos every time because they need to document or prove things for, you know, either the owner themselves or communicate with the stakeholders. And you know, even one client is, you know, spending 90% less time on using our platform, using OpenSpace versus, you know, old school photo documentation. So there's a lot of ROI to be gained using the right pieces of technology like OpenSpace.
And I would think as well that, yes, using it during the build, but with something like that, you build it, but then it has to be maintained for the next, I don't know how long people keep a super yacht, but probably, you know, the ability to use OpenSpace to document that, to document the user manual, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. A highly visual, you know, easy to understand piece of documentation that you can even use offline for forever, basically. Yeah.
Sandra, I love it. Thank you so much for taking a bit of time today to tell us all about construction and shipbuilding and how it works so well with OpenSpace.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.